Okay, did this start? I'm not even sure. Yes, I think it started. Okay, let's hold like this for a little bit. I can also do this. Okay. Uh, who is here? Who is here? Right now. Please confirm if you can hear me. And I'm not sure how I should hold this camera. Uh, Please write in the chat section. I'm not sure if the camera should be which way should, the camera should be turned. Okay, okay, you can hear me. I can see you. Good morning. Good morning. Actually, good morning for me. For some of you, good evening. That's why we cannot make this one too long, because it defeats the purpose if we make it too long. And I'm talking about setting yourself up for a great week. Whole camera in portrait. Okay, okay, I will be doing just that. So yeah, if I go on for too long about setting up your week, right, and I don't let you go to sleep, that will be counterproductive. So yeah, we had some question already about how not to care what other people will think of us. Ooh, you're giving me really tough questions straight from the beginning. How not to care? First, I think you have to sit a little bit with yourself and see what you think of yourself, and are you giving yourself real world evidence that the negative opinion of other people is right. If you focus on making real world evidence for positive opinion that you think you should have for yourself, then majority of that care for the opinion of others will go away. And okay, look at this now. I cannot make this up. There is a person in the water playing trumpet. A second. Person in the. Okay. Do you see? Where? I don't want to be, I don't want to be that streamer now who is invading other people's personal space. But look at like this is talk about someone who doesn't care about the opinion of others. Perfect timing. Look, playing trumpet on the beach. Amazing, amazing. Wow. But let's talk a little bit about setting your day right. I want to talk about something what I have in mind, but write me in the comments. Do you have any sort of routine? Do you have any sort of nighttime routine, morning routine? Because what I wanted to, Oscar is saying, always a pleasure to view the world from others' perspective. Thank you. I mean, not thank you, but a beautiful thing to say. If more people were like that, it would be a better world. And I truly mean that. Hey, Henriette, if that's the correct pronunciation. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Hey. So what I wanted to start talking about is, and you write a little bit about how do you start your day? Do you have some sort of routine or ritual for starting your week? Because the last couple of questions that I've asked on my Instagram story, so many people were talking about just being completely lost when it comes to how they go through their day. And I understand there is such thing as physiological aspect of depression, where it's hard to move through the day, it's hard to get out of bed, but that's not the case with most people. Rain. I want to have a nighttime routine on reflecting on my day, but I find myself too exhausted or tired to give that much mental effort. Okay, and with a cup of coffee, dealing with Camus and your interpretation of it. I want to reflect now for a moment on this nighttime routine, but it takes too much effort. First, but that's a separate topic, but I will just touch on it. You have to go find how much I've talked about starting small, but also not limiting yourself to always keeping it small. So I don't want to sound like I have no empathy, but if how to put it, if you feel like you don't have enough mental effort, then you can you reflect on your day for 1 minute? Do you have enough mental effort? Do you have enough mental energy for that? But also this fits well into what I wanted to talk about, because we can make a more structured conversation, or maybe I can pre-record a video on different aspects of one's routine. But right now, one thing, and you were talking about reflecting on your day. One thing that I've written about and that I practice, I can say religiously practice, is when I go to bed, like literally at the end of my day, when everything is finished and I lay my head on the pillow, I think about, I have to recognize one win that day. I will not go to sleep. I will not go to sleep until I recognize. So it doesn't take. That's why I'm now. What I think Harold said. You find yourself too exhausted. I also find myself often too exhausted, and a lot of us. So that's why I don't have like an extensive reflection routine. I just literally before I allow myself to fall asleep, I just have to recognize one win. And it's 90% of the time or 99% of the time really small win, at least small. Well, most people would perceive it small, but by recognizing it, I understand that it's not small. So let me try. I could always say that I recognize some of your messages or comments like wins, which is actually true. That every single night I remember at least one message or one comment, but I want to now share something more relatable, because not everyone is a content creator and not everyone receives a lot of comments and messages from strangers. So let me give you an example of a small win. The other day was I really didn't want to write, I really didn't want to write, and throughout my writing session, I wanted to stop so many times. And let me tell you this, the finished product was not what I wanted. I wasn't satisfied with the essay. I wasn't satisfied with the quality. But, where I recognized the win? I recognized the win that multiple times I felt the urge to stop writing and walk away from my laptop, but I kept on writing. So that was my win for that day. I just didn't give in to the urge to stop writing. But I could also look at it as a loss, because I really wasn't satisfied with the essay that I've written. So that's why I tell you, we can recognize something small. But here is Harold is saying I'm in the 12th 12-step program, and part of what we are taught, to reflect on, is if we've been selfish, dishonest, resentful, or afraid throughout the day. I like what you're saying about finding a win, because the prayer can feel too judgmental when only focusing on it. Yes, I guess it would be difficult. It would be unpleasant to focus strictly on that. I've heard so many success stories with the 12-step program, so I don't want to criticize that. And I do believe there is value in calling yourself out for all of these things. So I don't want to. You see people running. I don't want to also join that group of people who are, oh no, you should never identify anything wrong that you've done. But on the other hand, I understand what you're saying about it being too judgmental and maybe putting you in sort of a negative loop. But here is what I also want to say. We said recognizing at least one win, and there is another thing equally important is, and this is what I want to share with a lot of people, and I will share outside of this live, because I really want a lot of people to try this. Get excited about the next day. Choose at least one thing that you are looking forward to. And now it's so easy. Imagine if I would make a reel about this, how many comments there would be. Oh, my life sucks, I cannot get excited about anything, my life is not interesting, oh, easy for you to say, blah 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 blah. Again, we are talking about small things, and when I say get excited and look forward, I'm not expecting you to turn on, to make a switch and feel some sort of ecstasy and euphoria for the things that you have to do tomorrow. But it's always a matter of choice. You can still absolutely choose to review your day that is ahead of you and say, okay, oh, tomorrow I get to talk with my friend on the phone. Okay, wow, what a privilege. What a privilege that I have a friend that I can talk to on the phone. Oh, tomorrow, okay, tomorrow I plan on having that meal that I didn't have in a long time. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Small things. I want to talk more about this, but what was the switch moment for you to power through when you want to give up? What are you thinking when you want to quit, and what made you overcome this quit mentality? The switch. I'm not sure there is a switch. It's more of a thing. I'm talking always about consistency because it's true. So I wouldn't say it's a switch. I wouldn't say it's one grandiose moment where I decide, okay, I will never quit. It's more like, okay, I will not quit this moment. Okay, I can hold on for this moment also. Okay, I can hold on for this moment. Okay, I can go through this day. Okay, then next day maybe same. So it's not a one-time thing, I'm still aware that I'm aware that I'm still not. You're never done with it, because I'm aware, and I don't like thinking about this, but I know that it's true. I know that I will still have moments in my life where I will be brought to my knees, and I will just be on the edge of quitting. So I don't think anyone has really turned that switch and that they're now done once and for all. I mean, I can tell you right now that I will never quit. I can tell you right now that with confidence. But, and I truly believe that when I say, but the thing is that I know there will be moments where I will feel infinitely weaker than now, mentally, physically, emotionally, infinitely weaker than how I feel now. So it's not really when I say okay, I will never quit. Yes, I mean that, but what's me saying it now worth it in that moment when I think I'm about to get crushed? What would you suggest when it feels like the universe is against your plans? Change the plans or defy the universe? I think also it also depends on context. There has to be is nuance. It's not one size fits all solution, but I would genuinely review your role in everything. I would review your role in everything that's going on. Maybe it will sound patronizing, but I'm really for taking the largest amount of responsibility that you can for the situation in your life, and maybe even a little bit more, just so you maybe even a little bit more than necessary, just so that you make sure that you're not on the opposite end, and that's thinking that the universe or fate is against you when you made some mistakes. So first thing I would say, really try to look honestly at all the aspects of your situation that were in your control or were and are results of your actions, your maybe past actions. Maybe your past is catching up to you. But if there is really none of that, if it's really like you say, just things are not going your way in some pursuit, and you feel like it's not meant to be for you, I'm not sure if I would at any point, if I would at any point say, okay, this is, like you say, universe against me, or this is not meant for me. If I would say that at any point, unless it's, if you're talking about pursuing something, the only thing when I would say, okay, now it's time to stop, is if you're pursuing this, it's not going your way, and it's keeping you stuck in life. It's keeping you stuck in life and maybe even hurting you and people around you. Then it's time to review and reconsider your tactic or your plan of action, to reconsider where you're aiming. But I know it's not just, I know it's difficult, but if things are not going your way and you think it's like the universe is conspiring against you in that certain case, I would never accept that as truth, as I tell you, unless you feel like you're stuck and this situation is hurting you and or your loved ones. But I would like just for a moment, because your week is starting for most of you starting tomorrow, starting after you wake up. What I told about getting excited. Okay, so before you allow yourself to fall asleep, you don't have to journal or anything. It will literally last 1 or 2 minutes to recognize one small win. And when I'm talking about looking forward to something, getting excited, extremely important aspect of that I want to mention. Don't look at your upcoming day and try to get excited about results. No. You have to get excited about actions. So I cannot. Let's put it like this. Last night, I am saying, okay, I can look forward to I'm looking forward to making this live with you guys, and also I'm looking forward to getting done some chores, some boring tasks. But I know that once I get them done, they're not really difficult. So, and once I get them done, my schedule will be much more flexible. So last night I said, okay, I recognized a couple of wins from my day, and what am I looking forward to? Because I want to wake up first having an idea of how my day is going to flow, and also I want to be excited about something. And as I said, it's not euphoria. Oh, I'm not waking up euphoric. Oh, how amazing! Yeah, I'm going to do these boring tasks. I'm not really ecstatic about them, but I am looking forward to finishing them. So again, it's about actions. I'm not looking forward to, oh, I'm going to wake up with, let's say, oh, right now I'm really, I'm really invested with my time and attention in YouTube. You know, I'm not at any point am I going to sleep and saying, okay, I'm getting excited about the amount of followers that I'm going to receive tomorrow. Or, okay, when I wake up, this video will have this amount of views. Those are results that are largely outside of my control. Maybe something different for you. You can think of the result. Maybe a message to a person that you have a crush on. I wouldn't really, not I wouldn't really suggest you get excited about receiving the message. I would get excited about sending the message. I would get excited about having the chance to spend some time reading that interesting book. How many people here listening, and how many people that you know in life set up their day the night before? And this is, again, what is this? This is not some kind of extensive routine. It takes 1 or 2 minutes. Why I'm saying this is because it's my mistake. I sort of lost touch, maybe, with how most people live their life. So I thought it's just basic. Yes, of course. Maybe people don't do the exact same thing. Maybe people don't do this to recognizing their win and creating something to look forward to, choosing something to look forward to. But they are, at the very least, making an outline of their day. But then I realized that almost no one is doing that. You are putting yourself at a really disadvantageous, I think that's the proper way to pronounce it. You're putting yourself at a really disadvantageous position if you have no idea how your day is going to look like. So, okay, maybe, hopefully you have work. You have some job that you need to go to, okay. And that gives you some structure to your day. But my question is, besides your job, your work, your career, do you have any idea of what you're going to do that day? And not just, stumble through the day, okay? Like how they say, stumbling through the dark. Okay, let's just go and let's see what happens. I hear lazy people say, oh, I just go with the flow. You're not going with the flow. There is no flow. There is no flow when you have no idea what you're going to be doing in your day. When you have zero structure, there is no flow with zero structure. I mean, I know there are exceptions, and someone will make a counter argument. Yes, I understand. But flow with your day, in that sense, you can maintain that for a couple of days at a time, a couple of times a year during maybe vacation or something like that. But going with the flow in the sense of just waking up and see what happens with your day, terrible idea. You can look at this, look at it. ask some questions, and tell me how do you start your week? How do you start your week? And you know what's also important to say? I don't want to now seem like some influencer. What type of influencer? I don't want to call anyone out, but I just have to point something out. This is not me telling you, oh, you know, it's really easy to get excited about your day, and I'm talking from perspective of someone who can wake up and do their morning beach walk. I've been practicing the same thing while living in a city where I have zero friends, where I have zero contacts, feel extremely lonely, and it's raining for 3 months straight, you know. So I could hate every second of it, you know, not having a person to talk to interact to, even to do some small talk, and every single day raining for the whole day for months. But still, okay, what can we look forward to tomorrow? What is an action that I can take tomorrow that I can look forward to? Not a result. What is an action that I can look forward to tomorrow? At least one, but aim for 3. And small things. Sorry. And I know people's schedule look differently, and a lot of people are busy. But what I thought in previous life, if you really care about your mental health, and if you think it's something that you have to, so that if you feel that it's almost urgent to take better care of your mental health, just wake up 15 minutes earlier. So I don't care how busy you are, you can still wake up 15 minutes earlier, and you can, I don't know what is the area where you live in, but if you live in the middle of a city, just go outside of your building and literally walk 100 meters front and back and get back. And I will tell you, oh, I can guarantee you that your day is going to be much better. Do you suggest anything about how to deal with feelings of emptiness and disassociating throughout the day? I think I can relate to that. You know what I would say? I would say, again, this is all coming from another human being, not from a guru. So take whatever you want from what I have to say, and also ask for advice from professionals if you see fit. But what I would say is get outside of yourself. Get outside of yourself, meaning you have to focus on someone and something different. It's most beautiful when you can focus on someone else, but also something. Because, and I can really relate with the feeling of emptiness and disassociation. And you will say it's precisely because of disassociation that you cannot focus on something outside of yourself. But again, it's a matter of consistent effort of trying to, I don't know how your life is structured regarding work or free time, but just getting outside of your own head, interacting with the real world as much as you can. And when I say something outside of yourself, it means devoting yourself. Maybe it will sound preachy, but I will say it anyways. You know, when you're feeling most empty, if you ask yourself this question, if you ask yourself, who could I help now? Not how I'm going to feel better, but if you ask, who could I help now? Okay, yeah, I'm not in a position to help, Maybe there is someone that you could call and say, and if they have time, have a heart-to-heart conversation. If they don't have time, even 5 minutes is enough to say, there is that thing that I always appreciated about you, but I never found a way to express it. Hopefully a loved one who will, hopefully not someone who is not really willing to, hopefully not someone who is not really willing to be there to listen and understand where you're coming from. Someone who is going to appreciate that you're taking the time to extend gratitude to them, to extend love towards them, and they're prepared to give it back. If at this point in your life you really don't have someone that you can reach out to and say, hey, I appreciate you, I love you, in those feelings of emptiness, go out and go somewhere where there are a lot of people, and you will think, okay, that will also make me feel lonely. Give a smile to force it out of yourself. I don't know, to a person working on a cash register in a store, you will receive a smile back, not every time. I really think that for people, I can relate to when you talk about emptiness and disassociation. It was a big part of my also personal struggle, and I can tell you that just focusing my attention energy outside of myself, focusing on other people, and trying as much as I can not to, we criticize a lot of, this is just a form of distraction and escapism. Okay, I get the point when there are some root issues that need to be dealt with, like some trauma. But let me ask you this: is it really escapism when instead of sitting in your room and ruminating, you go out into the real world? Is that really escapism? I don't know if that's escapism. It doesn't sound that bad, escaping into the real world from the world of your own thoughts, that most of them are not even saying the truth. Most of them are just negative interpretations of the reality, because your thoughts are not how to put it. I read a good quote by Professor Ali Akram. Your thoughts are not something sort of an unmistakable representation of reality. Your thoughts are interpretation of reality. So we are talking about escapism. Okay, escapism is maybe if you spend 10 hours per day playing video games or binge watching shows. And by the way, I completely support to do it for an hour or however long you want per day if you're able to maintain balance. But now I'm talking about escapism, like spending your whole day engaged in some mindless activity. But escapism, here brother Cash saying getting active in the real world is the quickest way to stop. I mean, is that really what we are going to call escapism? Getting busy is escapism. Get busy, just get busy with the right things. Imagine if you get busy and that leads you to interacting with new people, getting to know new people, being of service to your community, then receiving appreciation and love back. And that's escapism. Sorry, I'm not, maybe I'm now talking too passionately about this. This was asked by Victoria. I'm not, Victoria, talking to you in the sense like you consider this escapism. I'm just sharing what unfortunately we're hearing too much of today. Escapism. What everyone is supposed to sit alone in a room with their thoughts, until they completely let the negative and destructive self-talk overcome them. I don't think so. We have, someone said, thank you for this live. There is something comforting about watching and listening to someone genuinely talking about what they're going through in real life. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is my win for the day. Thank you. Acts of service coming from a genuine place must be one of the purest things we could do in this society. I couldn't agree more. And I don't want to sound like it's calculated or selfish, but also acts of service, it's some probably the best thing that you could do for your well-being, overall well-being. So, acts of service, I'm not saying do it just for your own benefit, but your benefit in it is undeniable. Sorry, I'm now jumping into another. I'm crossing the line of some people taking photos on the beach. So, Victoria, you know what? I would also challenge you. I would challenge you, if you're really struggling with these feelings of emptiness and disassociation. First, of course, engage in the real world. See who you could help, so that you can receive that love and appreciation back. See who you can reach out to. But also challenge you. Okay, show up here on the next video. I will answer your comment every time. If you're really struggling. I mean, of course, I cannot. It's even unhealthy to pose as someone who can solve all of your issues. But I challenge you to come back here and comment on. There will always be a new video up here, and comment about how your day and week is going. Have you made some progress? Have you managed to interact with the world in a different way? Have you kind of broken out of that feeling of emptiness and disassociation? So I'm offering you a friendly hand, so to say, but I'm also challenging you. We have to challenge each other. That's what friends do, you know. If we are just offering advice and words of encouragement without challenging each other, I think it's not enough. Drinking a lot, ruminating, drinking a lot. It was getting into the real world is the quickest way to stop ruminating, drinking a lot, eating junk food, and etc. Yes, I agree. And you know what I see, I understand we are all humans, and we have to feel pain when going through difficult times. And I will be the first to admit, yes, I've had multiple points in my life where I've tried to mask my pain with some short-term pleasure. But I also cannot avoid saying, please don't do it. I mean, I think I'm in a position now to advise against it, because I've moved on from that way of dealing with things in my life. So, okay, let's see what is, maybe it showed like this. Yes, don't. I mean, it's even more prevalent with men. Don't even think for a moment that you will be able to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish by getting high and drunk. I'm not saying if you have a reason to celebrate and you think you earned some party time, okay, but when we're talking about getting over a heartbreak and getting over these negative thought patterns and getting through the difficult periods of life. You cannot. You simply cannot. You cannot go through pain by masking the pain. We all know, almost all of us know that in theory, but we don't apply it enough. We don't apply that simple truth that you have to go through that feeling. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm some grandpa here talking about don't do drugs and alcohol. No, I'm just saying, if you think in the long run you will achieve anything and feel better if you get high or drunk every time you feel that pain, you're in for a rude awakening, as they say. What's also a good framework to think about when it comes to these negative habits. Okay, let's say I am talking with someone who smokes. I don't know if it's even allowed to talk about it on YouTube. Who smokes cannabis every day? I don't know if is weed allowed. Is it allowed to pronounce weed on YouTube? Okay, someone smokes weed every day, and they feel that it's affecting their life. And okay, here's a question. Okay, you would like to stop, but you're not ready to stop now. Okay, would you like to be smoking every day in 5 years? 5 years from now, would you like to be a person who is smoking every day? Your answer is probably not. Okay, 3 years from now, would you like to be a person who is smoking every day? Probably not. What about 1 year from now? That's closer than you think. 1 year from now, would you like to be a person who is smoking every day? Not. Then when is the point where you're going to make an effort to stop? Because people usually say, yeah, I want to stop whatever they're doing, but not today or not this week. I'm not ready yet. Okay, so when is that point? When is that point? Something to think about. I noticed something interesting here that I want to share with you. Can you see? Can I turn this camera around? No? Oh yes, I can. Look. Okay. I just thought this was interesting. These are things that amuse me when I'm on a walk. Now I don't know if I should take this one with me. Maybe I should, because if it stays here, it's just going to be picked up by the ocean again. I will take it with me. What do you think? Yes, it's going home with me. Okay, let me know, ladies and gentlemen, friends, because guys, if I say guys, maybe ladies will feel left out. Let me know what time is it now where you're at. Are you ready to take? We have a friend, I hope the right pronunciation is Ria, or Ria. Be gentle on yourself and gradually try to give it up. The key is to be forgiving and gentle with yourself if you ever mess up. Yes, I think there is definitely, especially amongst us men, we need to talk a little bit more about this. Not beating ourselves. I mean, not only men, of course, women. About beating ourselves down too much for our mistakes. I think there is balance needed there, you know, keeping yourself accountable, holding yourself accountable, keeping yourself accountable, calling yourself out when you are betraying yourself with your behavior, with your actions. So keeping yourself in check, but also not beating yourself down for your mistakes, and having a compassionate relationship with yourself. Victoria is saying obsessing over being healthy too correct can also be toxic, especially when you try to hate yourself for your bad habits. You end up intoxicating yourself even more in some way. Yeah, I think you do have a point there. You know, I think you have a point. You know what I like to say in this situation? I think that's missing sort of like a disclaimer that should be placed on all social media life advice content. I think every person needs to genuinely look at who they are, because we are not all the same. And because if we're trying to establish a balance, let's talk about this. Just let me put my new toy here. Okay, just a second, sorry. We are trying to establish a balance. So let's say here is middle. Some person is starting from this position. Some person is starting from this position. Some person is starting from this position. And if this is the middle, we all have different paths to take to that middle. So what Victoria is saying, I think it's a good point, but then I would ask everyone to see how this relates to you. How this relates to you. Because let's give an example. Maybe I'm a person who is extremely just naturally inclined to self-criticism and for beating myself down every time I exhibit what I would say is unhealthy behavior. But there is another person who is just grew up, and that's their natural state of never taking any accountability, any responsibility. So for them, the advice of, oh, it's okay, that's not, I wouldn't say that's for them the right type of advice. For someone who has just learned their whole life, or whether being influenced by the way they were raised or just their natural inclination. But there are people who need opposite type of advice. There are people who need the advice of, hey, look in the mirror and stop tapping yourself on the back. And then there are people who really need to hear, hey, it's okay. You cannot put yourself down for every mistake that you make. So I think we really need to, that's why I said disclaimer for all social media advice, because almost no advice is advice for everyone. You know, I have been receiving, especially last year when I was talking so much about kind of thinking less and doing more in life, and I was receiving criticism from people saying, oh no, you cannot be reckless. At that point in my life, I'm talking to myself, to my past self, and not past self like I'm talking to my past self from a couple of months ago at that point, and I'm talking to those members of my audience who are wasting their life just waiting for things to happen and hesitating and being afraid to take risk. So when I say think less, do more, a person who has been going recklessly through life, that's not advice for them. So that's what I think is relevant for all of this what we are talking about. Is we have some amazing insights from you here, and thank you for engaging. But I want to challenge everyone to think honestly about who you are and how everything that you're talking about relates to your life. If you're trying to establish balance between self-accountability and self-acceptance, so to say, where is your starting point? Where is your starting point? You know, I also had example of this is I had one piece of writing that was really popular and gained a lot of attention and engagement about Nietzsche's critique of how modern people are constantly busy, and he has an amazing critique of modern at that time, and it has just gotten progressively worse, of constantly being busy and obsessed with productivity. And so many people were commenting, yes, like applauding that, because I think some people understand what he was getting at, and some people just love to see someone kind of allowing them to be lazy. But you know what's funny? Because he criticizes culture of constantly seeking to be productive and constantly being busy and being obsessed with work. He criticizes that, but at the end he says, because he's always writing directly to his reader and interacting with readers, so he says, but I hope after he's finished his rant on the culture of obsessing about work, he says, but I hope you didn't think that I'm writing about you lazy something sluggards, or I don't know what's the expression, really obscure expression, but he's saying, yes, all of this is true, but if you who are reading this, if you are one of those lazy people who are not doing anything with their life, I hope you don't think I'm writing this for you, this critique of productivity and work. So that's what I hope you understand what I'm getting at. If I can now talk 1 hour about self-love, self-compassion, and not beating yourself down, but then at the end I would have to say, but I hope those of you who have learned to take zero responsibility for your own actions, I hope you don't think this was for you. So that was my point. I'm not now saying this to you guys and girls, because I think we have really at this moment people who are able to keep themselves accountable. Just my point of how we need to maintain nuance and perspective and context in all conversations. Yes, Victoria, that's absolutely correct. That's true. We need more. How would you say it? We need more self-investigating in this regard. Who am I and how this relates to my life? Definitely. Yes, but just I don't know how much longer I want to keep you guys here, because I would like you to go to bed on time, but I just hope that you are able to identify some things for tomorrow, at least for tomorrow, okay? You don't have to plan out your whole week, but try, please make an effort to select at least one thing that you can look forward to tomorrow. And make it something that's attainable. For someone feeling like they are standing at the crossroad in their life and they are not sure where they belong, what advice do you have for them? Can I ask just for more context? I will not ask you for any personal information, but when you say not sure where they belong, I just want to ask, is this crossroads where there are already options presented in front of person that they need to choose actively from, or they have to sort of create their own options and figure out on that? Because just to give you an example, maybe a person is thinking between 2 specific universities, or between 3 specific job offerings, or a person doesn't see anything in front of them. Maybe it's a difference where a person doesn't see anything in front of them, but has to figure out which way to go and what to do. So I would like if you could give me that context, because my advice will, and what I have to say will be different in relation to that. So if that's something that you could tell me. Something that you need to figure out. You know what I would say? Maybe this is not going to be a glamorous advice, but that's now something that I can truly tell you from personal experience and taking risks and going the unconventional path. You hear me talk about philosophy, and I'm a person who views life romantically, I would say that. But first, working too much, I do not have balance. Maybe I don't want life in the country I'm anymore. I need change. Oh, okay. First thing, and unfortunately, I would like that's not the key, that I would like if it was different. But the first thing that I have to say is make sure that you have some sense of financial stability. Maybe you expected something more profound, but I have to mention this first. Why? Because if you want to make changes in your life, and you don't have really any base, you know what you can find yourself? You can find yourself in a position where you go on that journey of trying to change your life and seek and create change, but along the way you realize that you are now completely financially unstable, and then you are forced into a worse position than you started, or where you started from, and not just worse financially, but you put yourself where you are now in a position where you are more lost, have less time to try to figure things out, less energy, your not even motivation, your spirit is down. So unfortunately, I have to say there has to be some sort of material and financial security involved. Just a second, I'm going to turn this way. Working too much, I do not have balance. Maybe I do not want to live in country I'm in anymore. You know, I'm someone who has changed the country, their place of life. So I'm careful about how to phrase. I agree, financial stability is important to me. I'm glad to hear that. What I would say is this: of course, it's usually depends a lot about on the context. If a person has a family, if a person is bound by something to their place of life and their work, that's also context that is needed. Not necessarily that I'm asking you to share everything here, but just things to think about. But I would also say, if you are in a position where you could change your life, let's put it like this: if you are in a position where you could make a significant change in your life, whether it's changing your work, moving to a different country, maybe to do the same work but in a different country, if you are in a position to make a radical change without it affecting your ability to sustain yourself, at least not drastically affecting that ability, then not affecting your family negatively. And we are not talking about your family being sad that you made a change. No, they have to handle that. Not affecting them in the sense that you are sort of abandoning people that need your help, abandoning them for the sake of going on a self-seeking journey. That's more what I have in mind. So if they worry about you, they worry about you. But I'm just talking about not abandoning some responsibility. If you are able to make radical change in your life, and you feel now that this is what you need to do, I would say give it a try. Give it a try. But of course, as you said, it needs figuring out: are you able to perform the work that you're already doing? Are you able to do it somewhere else? Have you thought about where you would like to go? Have you thought about a different type of work that you would like to do? Sorry for my hair being terrible during this live. Have you, let's put it like this, you know, a question that I like to ask people is, if tomorrow you could snap your fingers and you didn't do your shitty job, shitty, I'm not calling anyone's job shitty, I'm just repeating what people like to say. I hate my shitty job and da, 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 da. Okay, my question is just this. If you stopped working your shitty job tomorrow and you had all the free time, do you have an idea of what you would like to do? And this is to further my question. Something that completely changed my perspective on life was reading not Flow but Finding Flow by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. I think I've learned to pronounce his name. And this is a point. I'm not a big research guy. I'm not really interested too much in scientific research. Don't have anything against it, just not too interested in it. But this one is interesting. When do people feel okay, let's simplify it. Part of people's lives that has disproportionately the biggest impact on the quality of life is leisure time. So not work. You know, we always hear about how you have to be passionate about your work because that's where you spend most of your day. And I still do believe that. But we forget that you have this big chunk of your day that is in your control. And in this book, he really gives a breakdown of how people, at least at that time, and I can assume that now it's just worse. It's just worse than that. He's saying how people, when you have leisure time, that's your free time. There is passive leisure. He was talking about watching TV. And there is active leisure. Active leisure is activity. So you're engaged in something. You're engaged in an activity. The vast amount of people spend almost all of their leisure time in a passive state. So passive leisure as opposed to active leisure. Active leisure is the most enjoyable experience for the modern human being. So for a human being that is going to work and back from work. Active leisure time is where the greatest amount of not pleasure, like cheap pleasure, but true enjoyment is experienced by the modern individual. Active leisure. So I'm not now saying to you, Henriette, if I'm pronouncing correctly, I'm not saying to you that, okay, you should not make any change, just you need to spend your leisure time better. I'm not saying that. I'm really not disregarding your situation. I'm just saying to everyone, and you also take into account if in these moments when we feel lost, okay, maybe a change needs to happen, but if the change is not possible at this moment, how can you change that part of the day that you have control over? I understand you say working too hard, and it's unfortunate today that people are overworked and underpaid. Most people, it's really unfortunate. That's why I talk about financial stability. That's something that we cannot neglect. But there is still this part of our day that, no matter how small, that we do have control over. And I will be the first to admit, after a rough day and after an exhausting day, the best, not, of course, it's not the best, but what feels like the best thing to do is just, put yourself in a passive state of consumption, consuming food and media. And I'm not saying don't eat, but I'm saying, okay, I was working as an air traffic controller previously, and I will say it was highly stressful job, but for my country, which is extremely corrupt country and not extremely poor compared to some parts of the world, but poor country definitely, and extremely corrupt country, it was a good paying job, secure. But a lot of people were miserable. A lot of my colleagues were miserable because it's really a stressful job, and when you have a lot of stress and the working environment is not really healthy, then you need to be making ridiculous amounts of money to be happy with your life. But what's one thing, from maybe 30 colleagues that I have had, I don't know if 5 of them had a hobby. So after a stressful day or after any type of day, the only thing that they could do is go home, and most of them were much older than me, so they would not stroll on social media. Most of them would like news websites and online shopping to see what they're going to buy, and that's pretty much how they every single day look for. And of course, watching some shows like on Netflix or HBO or whatever. So maybe I went on a too long of a rant, but I would just urge everyone that besides this radical change, let's also take into account this change that it first seems small, but can be radical change, because it changes the quality of your life without drastically changing the structure of it in terms of where you live and what you do for work. So this is just a challenge for everyone listening to this to review how they are spending their leisure time. But for you, Henriette, it doesn't mean that you should give up on making significant change in your life. If you feel stuck, if you feel at crossroads, you know what I would say, and I hope that now that you are still here, let's see, Henriette, this is now important for me to tell you. So I want to now to be focused while I'm telling this to you. Of course, I cannot help you to figure out what that change is, but let me tell you this: if you are thinking about making a change, and you will be, or maybe already are, scared at some point because you get an idea of what change you could make, the only way to move through life is you have to take those decisions, you have to take action, you have to make those decisions. If you are in a state of waiting for life to be resolved in front of you so that you could understand your situation better and have better insight into what is right, I understand the value of thinking, I understand the value of planning, I understand the value of listing pros and cons, I understand the value of that. But if you are one of those people, and most people are like that they place too much weight on that, and then you look behind and you figure out, okay, wow, it's been already 5 years that I wanted to make some big change in my life, but I was just waiting for my life to be resolved in front of me so that I could, when I take action, it could be with certainty. The only way that your life is going to be resolved, that is for you to get a better understanding of what to do, is to start making some steps and then perceive, because I already think the way you expressed your situation, I believe you're an intelligent individual who is really thinking deeply about their life, when you start making some steps, you will be able, the person like you will be able to see what is the feedback that you've gotten from life. You will be able to understand, to perceive the even non-obvious results of your actions and see how your life unfolds. So the point is that your life will not unfold in front of you for you to have a better understanding of it if you give in to that fear, if you give in to that fear of action, because let's all face it, it's really scary to make changes. It's really scary. Especially when it's a change that affects the direction of your life, you know. When it's not a change, am I going to go to this gym or this gym, but when it's a change of, am I going to change my work or move? Even changing in today's world, even changing your gym or changing the hair salon that you go to is a big change for a lot of people. That's true. When I'm not scared, all doors open. This is something that I have to take screenshots, you know. Sorry. When I'm not scared, all doors open. I'm taking a screenshot of this. I like how it sounds. And now you encouraged me, you know. So if you encouraged me, it really doesn't make sense that you don't feel encouraged about your life if you're able to encourage someone else, you know. Thank you. I really want to acknowledge the fact that and I think you feel what I'm saying. I'm not saying that just it's it's a switch and you will not be scared of anything, you know, but by taking action and learning to, you know, it feels really good to see yourself as someone who is able to take action, who is able to move forward even when they're afraid. It really feels good. It really feels good, and I want that for all of you. Victoria said, I have difficulty finding a hobby, to be honest, always on pressure and overthinking. Always on pressure and overthinking. You know, I said recently in one video that my internal dialogue or monologue is going on non-stop. That's why I feel like YouTube is going to end up being even better format for me than Instagram, because I can go on these rants and quite often because I'm constantly thinking. So at least I can relate to this part of overthinking. Victoria, I don't know are you engaged in any physical activity, but when it comes to overthinking, and we already interacted now in this live, and I'm getting also a sense that you are a person who is deep thinker and self-aware person, and you know, we need to just recognize that self-awareness is something positive, but self-awareness is also one of the most detrimental things to human beings. Excessive self-awareness. So as positive, it's truly a blessing and a curse. So by far, the best thing for me has been physical training. And I'm not now saying, Victoria, for you to buy a kettlebell and start swinging it like maniac, like me, every day. I'm suggesting that you find an activity that is sufficiently challenging for you. There will be days where it's not challenging, where you just want to move your body a little bit, but hopefully there will be a lot of days where you want to challenge yourself. So not redlining, not burning yourself out, but just to challenge yourself so that you're completely in your body. No, you're completely in your body. You don't have sufficient resources to have all your energy and attention focused on your mind. So I'm not saying that should be your number one hobby, but I would challenge you just to improve the quality of your life, to start having some physical activity. Also, if you can find some activity that requires a lot of technique, like I tried archery, and again, as an overthinker, I said, wow, this is better for me. I'm not saying this as an absolute truth, I'm saying this for me. Archery felt better than almost any meditation any meditation session, not any type of meditation, but if I've been meditating on and off for how long? 6-7 years? Not constantly, but relatively regularly for 6 or 7 years. Archery felt better than almost every time that I meditated. Because for a person who is overthinking, who is overly self-aware and constantly taking notice of their thoughts, when you are engaged in activity that really requires you to pay attention to the technique of the way that you're performing things, oh, it's amazing. I'm not sure if I ever felt, I did. I want to say I'm not sure if I ever felt in present moment as much as then. I did during physical training. Sometimes when I'm really when I'm in flow, but what I would suggest to Victoria when talking about hobby, for a person like you, try something that requires technique, that requires you to follow every step that you are doing, so that you cannot afford to be ruminating and thinking about, oh, how do I look, and is this the right thing to do, and letting all those unnecessary thoughts overcome you. I would suggest trying something that requires technique. This is also an argument to be made, I love meditation and think everyone should give it a try, but meditation is really not for everyone at every point in their life or for every situation in their life. For a person who is overthinking and who has a tendency to get into their own mind a bit too much, yes, meditation can help, but meditation can also have a counter effect. You can sit to meditate and completely have your negative thought patterns overwhelm you. Henriette, if you're still here, I would like you to comment on one of my recent Instagram posts so that I cannot promise to text you really today, but I want to take notice of, and you also, Victoria, I want to take notice of who you are and be able to recognize you on Instagram and hopefully interact more. Sorry. Because you're asking some important questions, and I always feel like, I'm not really here for, just dishing out advice and okay, I'm smart and you're here to listen to me. I'm more interested in following your journey. So just like you're following me now, I cannot check in on you every day, but I'm really curious to see, because now I'm invested in your story, so I'm curious to see how you move on and what's going to be happening in your life in the upcoming weeks and months and years even. So I would like to thank you for saying that you like my writing. That's the biggest reward that I can receive when it resonates with someone. Apologies everyone for the, video quality is maybe terrible because the sun is behind me and the lighting is not the best and my hair is messy, so apologies for this being a bit unprofessional, but I think it's authentic to take you on a walk with me, you know. I will make more of those videos where I'm talking to camera and I'm sitting and it's all scripted because I'm trying to deliver a mini lesson on psychology or philosophy to convey something that I have been reading about and thinking about. I will do those, but I don't want to put myself in the box of just doing those videos. I really enjoy, and I feel like Instagram is not really the platform for that. I think YouTube is the right platform for this type of interactions. Being just like a friend with you, having a talk. So we will be doing more of these. Thank you. Okay, maybe we can wrap this up. If anyone has any more questions, please ask now. If not, we will be repeating this soon. Okay, if there are no questions, I just want to send you a final message before you go to sleep and your week starts. Please, this is more authentic and it reminds me of how you write. That's really white stanza. Oh, thank you so much. Wow, amazing. Thank you. Both of them is necessary for us, I think, for balance. I agree, and I will do my best to maintain that balance. And trust me, I really my whole day consists of doing this. So I'm happy that you like. Thank you for the advices. I'm new here, so I don't know much about. Okay, Victoria, please don't shy away from the challenge. I guess you came here from Instagram, so you can comment on one of the recent posts when I publish them, just so that I take notice of you. Thank you, everyone. Please remember that you have some control over your day and your life. I know that some of you feel really stuck, but you have to awaken that sense of agency in you. You have limitations placed on you. It's not as easy as you can do anything that you want. I understand that it gets difficult, it gets confusing, overwhelming, but you have always have some control over your time, over your day. You have that sense of agency. So you already have the ability, but sense of agency to understand that you are an active participant here. So please exercise some of that control in your day tomorrow and following days. If you get any value from what I do, the biggest reward that I could receive is to know that you are taking some action, and this is not all just talk, but actually affects your life in a positive way. Thank you so much. I'm now going to go for a little run, filled with positive energy from you. By the way, will these comments show after you? These comments, I think, will show in when I upload this live. I think they will. Yes, amazing. I'm going now for a run, fueled by you, fueled by your support, encouragement, and positive energy, and I'm sending love and support and encouragement your way for you to start your week right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to every single one of you, and for every single second of attention that you gave me. Bye. Talk to you soon.